Each region in the US has its own typical people personality, right? Some are short-tempered, some are slow, some are full of jokes, something like that. Japan has something similar, and the people of Kyoto have personalities that are considered distinctive by people from other cities. And I think it is universal. We all know that when we talk about what people are like in other cities, we don't always say nice things. These are the characteristics that are considered typical Kyoto people and what I have to say about them. By the way, I was born and raised in Kyoto and have lived in several cities in Japan and the US after college, so I think I can compare and contrast the characteristic of people. So I judge as objectively as possible, excluding subjectivity. Too much pride. Kyoto people are considered to have high pride. According to information on the internet, this is because they believe that Kyoto was the capital city of Japan for a long time, and the change of capital to Tokyo is only a recent event in its long history. But this is kind of true. Tokyo has been the capital of Japan for less than 200 years. Before that, Kyoto was the capital for 1,100 years. Until the capital moved to Tokyo, Kyoto was not only the center of politics, but was always the center of Japanese culture. So it is only natural that Kyoto people have a high sense of pride, and there is some evidence for it. So you have to understand that. I was just kidding. We don't usually live our lives competing with others for pride. I think we are more friendly. One thing I can say is that people in Kyoto put a lot of emphasis on carrying on a culture that has been handed down for a long time, and this may be considered pride. Two-sided personality. This is another very well-known reputation of Kyoto people. It means that they say all kinds of nice things with their mouths, but in their hearts they think differently. The examples given are these. Suppose you are talking with a friend from Kyoto. Your friend compliments you on your nice watch. Like, "Oh, I like the watch you're wearing today." I think you will then naturally look at your watch, right? But that is actually an allusion to the fact that your friend is saying, "You should pay attention to the time, you're talking too much. Chop chop." Isn't this kind of crazy? Another example. Suppose you live in Kyoto, your neighbor says to you, "Oh, your daughter is getting very good at the piano." This may actually imply that the piano is too loud or the piano sucks. This is also a famous story. Well, although I don't really know whether these stories are real or invented, they are well known as stories that describe the character of Kyoto people. However, I have never actually been told these things. These may just be exaggerated stories, but it may be true that Kyoto people tend not to tell the truth frankly. Kyoto was a political center for a long time, and power always changed with it. It is said that Kyoto people have a double-sided character, as being honest at all times can be dangerous to oneself in situations where somebody who was an ally yesterday may become an enemy today. What I think is, I don't know how much of this kind of thinking is left in us today, but at least my grandmother had this kind of character, so it may have some influence on us. I don't think there are many mean people, at least not among those you will meet on your trip to Kyoto. Kyoto people are kind and they will welcome you if you show them respect. If I were to worry a little, it would be that you would be unintentionally disrespectful. It is common practice in Japan and not just in Kyoto to remove shoes when going indoors. In places like restaurants and stores, you may not take them off, but in some places where you have to take off your shoes and there are no warning signs, you may get confused. Or you may just go straight in. In such cases, the person there may smile on his face but be angry in his heart. I don't want such a tragedy to happen. So if you are not sure, please just ask, should I take off my shoes? There are various reputations of Kyoto people being prideful, not honest or mean, but it all comes down to each individual's character. So if you think you like my personality, come visit my studio. In this video, I used some footage of beautiful Kyoto scenery for the background. There's also a video on which season you should come to Kyoto, so please check that out too. Konnichiwa! Did you like my video? My name is Yuki. I do dyeing and art in Kyoto. I have American customers and friends who come to visit the studio where I work. So I've completed some useful information for them on YouTube. You can become Kyoto ready by watching all the videos here. If you are interested in what I usually do as an artist, check out my work on Instagram. And if you'd like to come visit my studio, send me a DM from there. Don't forget to tell your friends about this channel. Have a nice trip!